This news update is brought to you by...
Say hello to Carol. Carol talks for a living, from morning till night. So she relies on Flo's crystal clear home phone service brought to her through Flo's 100% fiber to the home network. It keeps her in the know, and because she bundles her mobile broadband and TV services, she enjoys huge savings, so she can enjoy much more for much less. So visit any Flo retail outlet, call 1-800-804-2994, or visit discoverflow.co to find out more. One-of-a-kind connection. This is how we flow.
It's Friday, April the 1st, 2016, and this is your Barbados Today morning news update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. In our top story, Director of Public Prosecutions Charles Leacock has thrown out a lifeline to the Vincentian owner of a fishing vessel which has been in legal custody here for more than a year, after it was intercepted in Barbadian waters with 2 men and over $1 million worth of narcotics on board. Barbados Today first reported on Tuesday that 42-year-old Lenford Jack, who on the morning of February 16, 2015, had reported to the police in his homeland that his boat Genesis had been stolen, had made an impassioned plea to the Barbadian authorities to release his only means of providing for his family. When contacted yesterday, Leacock made it clear that the boat was liable to seizure because illicit drugs had been discovered on it. He explained that the process of recovery by the owner could be a lengthy one, and that if the men were convicted, the police could seek forfeiture of the vessel, notwithstanding the fact that it was Jack's only means of livelihood. Yet he presented the Vincentian fisherman with an opening, telling Barbados Today if it could be proven through investigations by the Royal Barbados Police Force that the boat was indeed stolen, he would seriously consider returning it to Jack.
Now, even before that, if he has a really genuine case that his boat was really stolen, let's say now his story is totally true, that his boat was genuinely stolen and used in the drug trade, he should probably write and set out that information he has to the Commissioner of Police and ask them to forward it to me for consideration as to whether the boat could be photographed and returned to him as an exhibit. That's provided proper investigations are done and to show that the boat was not that there was no culpability involved.
The DPP's assurance delighted Jack's attorney in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Vinette Frederick, who told Barbados Today via telephone yesterday afternoon that she was pleased that journalism still produced results. Frederick said she had tried all sorts of routes, including the diplomatic one, and had even retained counsel here for a watching brief to put her client's story to the magistrate and to the powers that be.
I'm happy to know that I can communicate directly to the Commissioner of Police and to the DPP through the Commissioner of Police to establish the fact that this gentleman is a legitimate fisherman who's really the victim of a crime and that his vessel was stolen and nothing more.
In more news now, a visiting social scientist to Barbados has urged the Freundis Stewart administration to legalize prostitution. Professor in the Department of Social Science at York University in Canada, Dr. Kampala Kempadu, is arguing that legalizing the world's oldest profession would reduce human trafficking and bring security and respectability to women in the profession. Kempadu, who delivered the Sir Arthur Lewis Distinguished Lecture on Who is Trafficking What? The Caribbean and Human Trafficking Disclosure, contended that most of the region's laws against trafficking in people unfairly targeted women in the sex trade.
The decriminalization of prostitution would go a long way toward making the sex trade a safer place to work and could eliminate underhand deals, it could eliminate extortions, false promises, the criminalization of sex workers by immigration, smuggling of persons, it could eliminate shady businesses and so forth. And it could allow working women to gain access to state protections, health care, and rights as any other citizen or legal migrant.
Government's plans to establish a Chinese-funded project at the Hope Plantation in St. Lucie is being met with stiff opposition from livestock farmers in the north, who complain that the project would cause irreparable damage to the industry. and they have the support of government's backbencher and Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Agricultural Society, James Paul. The BAS boss and other members of the executive body yesterday visited the plantation for an assessment of the possible damage if the Front-Distort administration proceeds with the plans to set up an agricultural school for students of the Barbados Community College and the Samuel Jackman Prescott Polytechnic on 45 acres of land. Now, dairy farmer MacDonald Stevenson, who has been cultivating grassland for the past 10 years, said he stood to lose most.
If they go through with this project, what I got to start seeing from now, they want how he can cut back. You know, how he can juggle and keep as few as animals as possible. And I've made substantial investments in the dairy industry already. You know what I mean? So the question is there. How are you going to sit with us and talk to us and discuss this, say how we can do the best way forward where we, with the livestock sector, would be on a sustainable path, and the programs that they want to implement in the community college and SJPP, that they can all of us can function within the environment.
In sports now, while India continues to lick its wounds from yesterday's bruising defeat at the hands of the West Indies, who power hit their way to the World T20 final on Sunday, host captain MS Dhoni has blamed his team's no balls and the Jew factor for their loss.
We are saying we are maybe 10 or 15 short because we have seen the second innings, but you have to also analyze the surface is completely different. And if you're looking for that 210, in the first innings, you may end up getting 160. And on a wicket like this, 160 becomes quite below par. So the only thing I'm disappointed about is the 2 no balls. Other than that, we tried our best, whatever the condition was, even it was not in favor of the spinners, but whatever resources we had, we tried to make the best of the game.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
The 50th anniversary of Independent Secretariat and the National Cultural Foundation proudly present the theatrical production From Bassa to Barrow and Beyond.
We are not slaves.
Saturday, April 16th at 6:30 p.m. at the historic Golden Grove Plantation. Come, be a witness to history.
Aye, Nanny Greg.
Enter the ritual. Feel the power.
This country will be independent. And if I have to wake up all the sleeping angels in heaven, so be it.
From Bassa to Barrow and Beyond. April 16th. Tickets $50 adults, $10 youth and children. Available at all NCF outlets and at ticketpal.com.
Turning now to news from the region, Guyana's Attorney General Basil Williams has called for tougher laws to strangle money laundering. The Attorney General was addressing a workshop to take a sharp look at the risks associated with that financial crime.
The importance of a strong regulatory framework cannot be understated. The need to confront this threat has been recognized all over the world. As succinctly stated by Min Zhu, Deputy Managing Director of the IMF, and I quote, "Money laundering and the financing of terrorism are financial crimes with economic effects. They can threaten the stability of a country's financial sector or its external stability generally. Effective anti-money laundering and combating the financing of terrorism regimes are essential to protect the integrity of markets and the global financial framework as they help mitigate the factors that facilitate financial abuse."
And finally, on the international scene, President Barack Obama says China and the United States will work together to try to prevent further missile tests by North Korea. In recent weeks, North Korea has carried out hydrogen bomb tests and has repeatedly test-fired missiles while making threats to the West. Obama met with Chinese President Xi Jinping on the sidelines of a nuclear summit in Washington yesterday. The BBC's Jonathan Marcus assesses North Korea's nuclear capabilities in light of the latest test claims.
Well, we clearly don't know definitely what is in the North Korean nuclear arsenal, but what they say they tested today was a hydrogen device, a thermonuclear device. This would be different from the more simpler devices that they've tested in the past. It would potentially give them a much more powerful bomb. Now, it has to be said there's a lot of skepticism about these North Korean claims, but what this test does show is that North Korea's nuclear program is still very much in business and that they have the ambition to develop it significantly further.
And that's news and sports. However, you can join us again this afternoon for more. Until then, remember to log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Also tune in to Channel 99 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM to get all the latest news and sports. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.